So as we're talking about Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, there's just a whole lot happening in the sports world right now. I mean, you have the baseball playoffs that's about to happen, right? Then you got the NBA that's happening. Then you have football that's going on and everything. Just a whole lot of stuff happening in the sports world. And in celebration of Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, becoming the Jackson State University head coach, we were trying to figure out an interesting trade scenario that would really pull different sports into the conversation. And we thought, well, no better time to discuss this trade scenario. What you got, Danny?
So our trading scenario today is 2 cards for each player. Deion Sanders, Primetime Sanders, 1989 score rookie card with the Atlanta Falcons, and his 1989 Fleer update with the Yankees baseball card, or Vincent Bo Jackson, 1988 Topps Los Angeles Raiders rookie card, and his 1987 Leaf baseball card with the Kansas City Royals. So, a couple quick stats here for those of you who are not familiar. One is implied. These were two sport athletes, football and baseball. Deion went to Florida State, was the number 5 pick by my Atlanta Falcons in 1989. Bo Jackson, number 1 pick in 1986 out of Auburn, was a Heisman Trophy winner. Jason, knowing that, I have a couple other stats I'll bring up in my argument. But those 2 cards, football and baseball, who do you want?
I have been anxiously anticipating this discussion. Since we decided that we were going to talk about this, man, I have been going back and forth on this trade scenario itself, man. And as of right now, I still haven't made a decision. I'm going to have to talk this through, okay?
Yep.
So, fans, you all know me by now, man. Listen, I look at what has the player done in college that has transitioned over to the professional world. Did it translate? So, thought about that, and I look at what Bo Jackson did in college. Obviously, like you said, a Heisman Trophy winner. And we got to remember one thing here. Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders, Auburn and Florida State did face off. I believe it was when Deion was a freshman with those big old pads, the juicy curl. And Deion would say, hey, it looks wet, but it's dry. And Deion admitted, and it's on film for you fans to go out to YouTube and check it out, Bo Jackson stiff-armed the hell out of Deion Sanders. Now, Deion Sanders wasn't known for no tackling or anything like that. But Deion Sanders was legit in his own right by winning the Jim Thorpe Award as best defensive back and everything. So we got to mention that. You have your Heisman Trophy winner in Bo Jackson, but you have your Jim Thorpe Award winner as best defensive back in the country in Deion Sanders.
Yep.
Definitely wanted to mention that. And let me just say this. So I looked at, and fans, you know where I'm going here. I looked at the draft. Okay. As I was looking, I was like, man, what in the world? So when Deion got drafted, we have to look at who else was in his draft class.
Yep.
The number 1 overall pick in the 1989 draft was Troy Aikman to the Dallas Cowboys, Hall of Famer. The second overall pick was Tony Mandarich to the Green Bay Packers. I don't know what the hell the Packers were thinking, but they went ahead and picked Tony Mandarich, a tackle. The Detroit Lions picked number 3 overall. Who did they take? Barry Sanders, Hall of Famer. The 4th pick, the Kansas City Chiefs selected Derek Thomas, Hall of Famer. Then the Atlanta Falcons went ahead and selected Deion Sanders at the number 5 pick, Hall of Famer. And then I looked at the 1986 NFL draft, okay? The number 1 pick by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was Bo Jackson. Bo didn't play, obviously, for Tampa Bay. He decided to sign with the Kansas City Royals. And so I thought about that for a minute. And I was like, man, Tampa Bay was that bad that this brother went ahead and played baseball so you wouldn't have to play with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When you look at Deion Sanders being selected by the Atlanta Falcons, that was a culture shift. So before we talked about how Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, now coach of the Jackson State Tigers, how that's a culture shift. And then he goes to the Atlanta Falcons, culture shift. We all remember the too legit to quit. Right, too legit to quit. And we all remember the MC Hammers and all the stars be on the sidelines of the Atlanta Falcons and everything, how they really started to make the momentum. It took them a while, it took them a couple years, 2-3 years to get there and everything, right? Mm-hmm. And then they started to go to the playoffs. They went to the playoffs. Prime went ahead would intercept the ball. He would just, showcase it and everything, run it back for a touchdown, or it would just, the fans were just crazy, right? We can't forget that. Culture shift.
Yep.
Again with the Falcons, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But then you have Bo Jackson, right? You have Bo Jackson who played for the Kansas City Royals. And, oh, by the way, we hadn't seen that done recently, in where an athlete would play two professional sports. We hadn't seen anything like that. So everybody was wondering, man, we didn't see Bo play no baseball in college. We always saw him play football and everything, right? And then what really set it off, right, were the Nike commercials.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We all remember those commercials, Bo Knows.
Bo Knows.
Bo Knows. For the fans who don't know about Bo Knows, and that's KNOWS, Bo Knows, go out to YouTube and check out the commercials. Bo Knows. One of the commercials was a Bo Jackson in uniforms playing baseball, football, basketball with Jordan, where Jordan says Bo knows basketball. You have one can argue the best basketball player in NBA history in your commercial saying Bo knows basketball. That's Michael Jordan. You have Bo playing tennis. He's running. Hockey with Wayne Gretzky, arguably one of the best hockey players ever. Cycling, lifting weights, and then goes to Bo Diddley.
Mm-hmm.
That commercial was epic. That commercial was a cultural change. That was a cultural change like no other, man. Here's the thing. As you saw all these Bows in these different gears and everything, one really had to think about it. Can Bo really play these sports, man? Because he was that hell of an athlete.
Yep.
I believe he could actually do 95% of this stuff, man, because he was that great. When we talk about changing the culture, a culture shift, Bo did that. Bo was the first one to do this generation in terms of two-sport athlete, professional athlete. Bo Jackson, when you think about his baseball career, okay?
Yep.
One of the highlights, there's many highlights in his baseball career, but one of the things that I really look at is that 1989 All-Star game, in where he was the leading vote getter, and he ends up hitting a home run. There are running catches in the outfield. He beats a double play. He steals bases, and he becomes the All-Star Game MVP. So he was a star amongst stars.
Mm-hmm.
So when we think about the rookie card, okay, yes, I do look at can their skills translate from the college world into the professional world? The answer is yes for the both of them. Okay. But we also got to kind of look at, for me personally, I have to look at even a little bit into their career, right? So when we think about Bo Jackson, man, I got to say this. We also got to think about the lack of a championship with Bo Jackson. In multiple interviews that I've seen, Deion looked up to Bo Jackson. So he's very complimentary of Bo Jackson. So in no way am I saying one person is worse than the other, because these are exceptionally blessed individuals. But with the card itself, man, we look at Deion Sanders, right? And look at his baseball career. Deion Sanders' baseball career, and he did something extraordinary, man. And there's I want to say a 30 for 30 off of this.
There is.
In where he he played football on that day and then flew to the World Series game. I don't think he played, but he he was there, right? But let me just say this. He at least got to the World Series. He battled for a championship. And oh, by the way, you know what? He did extremely well in that World Series. He batted .533 in the World Series. So, I mean, when the lights were shown the brightest, he rose to the occasion. I'm torn, man, because as I look at Bo Jackson and Bo Jackson's football career, it was cut short. And then when he got there, we remember him running against the Seattle Seahawks, ran into the tunnel, hitting Bosworth because, I mean, I look at Bo Jackson, man, and I'm like, man, he could do anything athletically, right?
Yep.
But I'm going to have to go with Deion.
Whoa.
I'm going to have to go with Deion, man, because the heartstrings are tugging at me because one of the main culture shifts, and we just talked about it, is him becoming head coach at Jackson State University. And that to me, that is huge. And Deion Sanders' card. Yep. I could show anybody a card, right, of Deion Sanders. And I could just go into this long story that I'm just going through right now. And I could do the same thing with Bo Jackson.
Yep.
I'm going to have to go with Deion Sanders' card, man.
All right, Jason, a couple other items of note to add. So Deion, not only was he a cornerback, and you kind of alluded to this, he also played wide receiver, kick returner, and punt returner when they were more prevalent back in the day where they don't have all these rules now, where he was, and they used to say it, prime time. When he take off for that touchdown. Boy, he was something else, man, in Atlanta. And like you said, he was a culture shift for sure. He's the only person to play in a Super Bowl and a World Series. Bo Jackson's the only person to play in a Pro Bowl and an All-Star game, which you talked about. Something people don't realize, Bo Jackson ran the 40 in 4.12. Deion ran it in 4.27, which is nothing to sneeze at either. You think about it, Deion has Super Bowls, Defensive Player of the Year, and he was just a transcendent player. But then you look at the cards, and there's one card of Bo Jackson. It was a score card. We had the shoulder pads with the baseball bat across the shoulders. Legendary card. When you see that card, man, you talk about transcendent. That card, you look at that card, Bo laid it out in that one picture. The bat, the shoulder pads. And I was thinking about this. I'm like, man, if I'm going to take one player's, both their cards, it has to be Deion, but it's very close. It's very close because Bo Jackson's cards are right there. And I put the trade as I want Deion's football card and Bo Jackson's baseball card. If we're taking one person, I'm going to take Deion because that Atlanta Falcons card. And like you say, he had the curl and everything. And it was just the memories of him changing the Atlanta Falcons into someone or a team that was a playoff contender. And now, since then, they had their ups and downs, but they make it to the playoffs more times than not. And people want to go play there. Versus before he came there, no one wanted to play in Atlanta.
And let me add this right quick. Remember when Deion came back to the stadium as a 49er?
Yes.
And that was when the 49ers and the Falcons were, I think he was in the same division rivals.
Yep, we were.
And Deion came back, intercepted that pass, and took it all the way back and started high-stepping and did his dance. And he said, "This is my house. I built this house. This is my house." You remember that?
Yeah. I was salty.
And that's what Deion provided, man. He provided that flash and flare, man. You didn't throw on his side of the field. He was the first that had an island. He took half the field away.
We agree on this, but if we're on the back porch, I may try to get you for the Bo Jackson baseball card, Deion football card, hand you off that Yankees Deion card, that Bo Jackson football card. The Raiders, both special players, man, and they'll always be in the history books for sure. For what they accomplished in their careers, even though Bowles was cut short due to injury.
So it's good to finally agree on that one. But as Daniel always would try to do on the back porch, he would try to get me. Thank you for joining us at Back Porch Talk Podcast. You can also join us on Twitter by tweeting us at @back_podcast. For more information, you can go to our website, which is backporchtalkpodcast.com. You can also email us at backporchtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and remember that there's enough hate in the world, so go ahead and spread a little love.